Then our e-medical sheets. Yan, syempre, di ba? Mukhang suspect ako dyan. Good morning everyone, welcome back to the vlog happening this season. And for today's topic, pag-uusapan natin ang mga documents that you need to bring as you fly going to Canada as an international student. Ready? I'm sure, especially if you're lodging from the Philippines or if you're from the Philippines, nakita nyo na this document, this famous document, this file folder. So if you're, most likely you're a member of that big Facebook group for Pinoy students, and this is actually the one that's very popular there kasi it's easily customizable according to the documents you want to put inside. So dahil pag-uusapan nga natin yung mga documents that you need to bring going to Canada, first I'll go through the table of content, kung ano yung mga lahat ng laman dito, and then I'll go through each document, where you can find it. Most likely meron ka na if you have been already approved as your visa's already been approved. Okay, so there are 12 sections dito sa folder natin, sa the documents I brought. Section 1 would be the CBSA and biometrics documents. 2 would be the letter of introduction and the passport request. 3 would be the POEA advisory for OWPs and your booking ticket. In my case, it's PAL. 4 would be the actual flight tickets that we had, and then my college's letter of acceptance. 5 would be the enrollment confirmation for my college, which is Bow Valley College, and some of the receipts for the tuition and confirmation deposit. Then sa number 6 would be the travel letter specific to my college, and ako naglagay lang din kami nito the photocopies of our Canadian visas. Number 7 would be our travel and medical insurance, and because we opted to invest in guaranteed investment certificates or GIC, I also printed out yung documents to support that. 8th section would be yung bank certificates ko namin ni wife, as proof of our finances, just in case hanapin. And then our VAX cert. Number 9 would be your e-med sheets, our marriage certificates. Number 10 is our birth certificates, kasama yung sa mga children ko. And the conditional letter of acceptance for my daughter. Pag-usapan natin mamaya. 11 would be our NBI clearance, and then yung lease contract of our apartment here in Calgary. And then last would be, since we had a sponsor, our affidavit of support, and pinrint out ko yun sa Arrive Can. Okay, so let's go through each section one by one. Okay, so ito yung mga different documents per section. So sinabi ko na sa inyo kanina yung laman ng each of the 12 sections. Umpisa natin sa number 1, yung CBSA, or the, oh my god, I might get it wrong, the Canadian Border Services. A is I don't know, but supposedly you need to present this letter and your passport upon arrival in Canada. After pakita ko sa inyo to, I'll quickly talk about yung experience namin when we arrived in Canada last week. So this is the CBSA letter. I also included the different letters we got in IRCC, yung sa biometrics and yung letter of introduction. Next section naman would be the PPR, or the passport request. Sinama ko rin because I'm the kind of person that I want all of the information to be with us. Kinolor code din namin to. So green is for me, orange for my wife, pink for winter, our daughter, and blue for autumn, our baby boy. Then ito for OWPs, they said that it's very important to include this advisory 159 from POEA na hindi sila nagpo-process ng open work permits for your spouse. So yeah, in some cases hinahanap daw to ng immigration officer, especially in PH, but in our case hindi. Next would be our ticket. So we rode PAL. Our flight was July 20. Next section is yung mga different documents namin for as an international student, the LOA, and my confirmation of enrollment. This is my official receipts for my study in Canada. And BVC or Bow Valley College required a travel letter, so meron din akong in-accomplish na ganun. Here naman, why is it empty? Yeah, these were the photocopies of our Canadian visas. I pulled it out because I filed them. And then ito yung travel and medical insurance naman. I got it from Alliance. It's pretty affordable. I got it for 30-day coverage. From until end of, I think, middle of August. Then ito yung mga documents for CIBC, or where I got my GIC or Guaranteed Investment Certificates. Ito yung mga banking stuff or POF documents. Yan. Here we have yung copies of our vax certs. Yan. Fully vax kami ni wifey 4 times. And then our e-medical sheets. Yan, syempre, diba? Mukhang suspect ako dyan. Next would be our certificate of marriage and yung mga birth certificate naming 4. Just so that, we can prove our relationship as husband and wife, and anak namin sila. Then here, I put in yung conditional letter of acceptance for my daughter. So this is, I emailed them May, or actually end of April. Then I submitted some requirements to them, and then they gave us this conditional letter of acceptance. So that's what I'm working on right now. Actually, it's July 25, is to register my kid in one of the schools near where we're living. Tapos, I actually put in a quarantine plan just to be safe. Alam ko hindi na siya required right now. Speaking as of July 25, 2022. And our NBI clearances sa amin ni wife. Yeah. Then, I think that's most of, here would be yung mga sponsors letters here. And actually, nagdala rin ako ng prescriptions for the different medicines that I brought. So these are the things that you need to bring going to Canada as an international student. If you want to find out where to buy this cool folder, I think we got it in Shopee. I unfortunately don't have the link, pero you can find it there. So, tinamad na akong bumalik dun sa upuan. So I'm going to be shooting this next part of the vlog sitting down on the floor for a balcony. Kwento ko naman sa inyo yung our trip or how our experience or flight experience happened. So lumipad kami July 20, 2022. Our first flight was with PAL from Manila to Vancouver, and then from Vancouver to Calgary we rode WestJet. So itong section to is to just share kung ano yung experience namin during that whole thing, kasi from my batchmates of incoming international students and yung mga nag-a-apply din in the future, nag-post kasi ako sa Facebook group. I've received a lot of questions about, ano ba yung hinanap, ano ba yung tinanong, and some tips. So when we went to PAL, we had about, na-maximize namin yung check baggages namin. We had 6 na balikbayan boxes and 2 maletas. When we checked in, there were only actually 1 or 2 people ahead of us in line. Natagalan lang kasi yung dalawang passengers na yun, they did not fill up their arrive can. The app, that guys, you should fill it up. It's a requirement before you enter or before you even leave the Philippines going to Canada. It's very simple. Basically, it's declaring things about yourself, your family, yung mga dadalhin nyo, parang customs declaration. So, when we checked in our luggages, ang mga tinimbang lang would be the 8 checked-in luggages. Yung sa hand carrying naman, we brought 2 luggage strollers, yung mga spinners, yung maliliit. 2 backpacks kami ni wife, and then about 2 eco bags. So, yung eco bags yun was a tip that my wife, my mom and my wife gave me, na ilagay doon yung mga milk bottles, um, baby bottles, powder, so that if nagtimbang, it's a personal item. So sa mga hand carries namin, ang mga tinimbang lang were the luggage. Yung backpack ko was not actually weighed, thankfully, kasi ang bigat ng backpack ko. Ito pa lang, I think 2 kilograms na, or 1 point something. I had my laptop there and all. So I guess that's the tip. If airport security is not that, strict, you can choose not to weigh your backpack. So baka gusto nyo dun ilagay yung mga heavier items. So after going through the baggage check, yung Philippine immigration officer naman, so we handed in our passports. Kaming apat, lumapit mismo kami doon sa kiosk. And then she just asked us ano yung stay namin for, how long were we staying for. Dahil kinumpute yung days, it was about 773 days. When I said that, sabi nung ayaw, study permit pala to? So parang hindi niya agad nalaman na it's a study permit, a study stay. So she then just asked who's the student, which is me, the OWP, and then she just looked at yung letter of acceptance ko from BVC. Then we went now on our flight, a pretty smooth flight actually. Tulog lang ako for like 80-70% of the time. When we landed in Vancouver, ito yung siguro a bit stressful. We had about 4.5 hours, 4.5 hours of layover. Nasabi kasi nila, the usual advice is get at least 4 hours. Iba naman sinasabi get at least 5 hours. And from our experience, I think 5 hours onwards yung better. So anong nangyari is, when we went down from the plane sa Vancouver, we lined up dun sa, I think there's a border officer. No, sorry. There will be electronic kiosks that you have to fill. You have to go, one per family, isang machine. So isa-scan nyo dun yung passport nyo and then kukunin yung fingerprints. I think they pulled the information from ArriveCan. Unfortunately, yung sa dalawa kong kids, hindi ata na register ng maayos. So I had to input it again. Mabilis lang naman. After that, makakausap kita isang border officer. The only thing that border officer asked us is what are we staying, what ano yung purpose, which is study. Wait lang, may dumadaan. And the next thing that she asked was how much money you're bringing to Canada. In our case, we brought more than 10,000 Canadian dollars. And contrary to popular belief, wala naman limit. Actually, just have to declare, and then my extra step go more than 10,000 Canadian dollars, which I'll tell you later. So after kay border officer, you're gonna be going to the if Vancouver is your port of entry, you're gonna be going to the baggage claim area. So dito, dahil nga 6, actually dahil 8, actually 10 kasi we were traveling with my mom. Dahil marami kaming bagahe, nakakita ako ng mga porters for hire. They're wearing blue, tapos may red na hat. And then, they asked me kung ilan yung baggages namin. Sabi ko 10. And they charged me $50. So, okay sila kasi tuturo mo na lang. And then silang ihila from the conveyor belt. Ilalagay doon sa malaking trolley nila. Somehow, yung 10 luggages namin na balikbayan boxes and big maletas nagkasya sa isa. I would suggest na if marami kayong dalang bagahe or if you're a family, you just hire them kasi iba rin yung pagod. Malayo yung lakad from the baggage claim area to the next boarding gate. So after makuha na yung mga baggages, backtrack. When you go to the e-declaration kiosk, they're gonna be printing out a paper for you which is called the declaration card. Okay? Declaration card. Keep that safe yun. Keep it safe kasi important yan. So after the baggage claim area, pumunta na kami ni wife and 2 kids sa immigration officer. So maraming taong kinakabahan sa immigration officer kasi most of the other experiences is ang daming tanong ng immigration officer. In our case, wala masyado. 1 or 2 lang. However, we were there in line for 1.5 hours. Ang tagal namin nandun. And it's not because packed yung room and maybe they're processing slower or baka intensive lang talaga ang pag-review nila. But doon, pumila kami sa loob, kaming apat, lipat kami na lipat ng seat hanggang makapunta sa harap. Nasa middle row na kami, yung isang IO lumapit sa amin, lumapit sa lahat ng naka-line up and ask kung sino yung may study permit. And then she would get documents from them. In our case, nung lumapit siya sa amin, sabi ko, we have a study and a work permit, an open work permit for my wife. So, ang kinuha niya sa amin were the passport, the declaration card, and I believe the LOI. Yeah, those are the only 3 things that she took from us. Sa tagal namin kantay, like yun nga, 1 hour more. Then we got called na there to the IO, sa parang cubicle or kiosk niya. She just asked us, how much money are you bringing? So I said $25,000. Is that cash or check? So I said cash. Yun lang naman. And then she gave us our permits, which look like this. So since we brought more than $10,000, I was asked to go to the customs cashier. Pinafill up lang sa akin doon, and then pinasign. The lady there just asked me what is the amount of cash for. So I just said for our living expenses. And then yun nga, dahil ang tagal namin dun sa sa immigration office, 40 minutes na lang yung natira, I think, or 30, less than 1 hour lang natira dun sa layover namin. So we had to rush all the way to the next baggage drop para dun sa mga luggage namin. Kaya thankfully, mayroon kaming porter na tinuro kami ng daan. Maliban sa tinutulak niya yung luggage for us, he was also pointing us to the right direction kasi ang laki ng Vancouver airport. And it was actually beautiful. Kaya medyo nanghinayang ako na we were not able to explore Vancouver airport. It looked really nice. And I love exploring airports. So, nung nag-baggage drop na kami, hindi na nila winay yung baggages namin. Binaril lang with a parang digital POC. I think yung weight na naka-register sa NAIA, sa PH, yun yung lumalabas when they do that. And then, kasi takbo kami. Papunta kami dun sa huling security check. So they would ask you to put out your laptop, right, in your bags. Grabe, like 5 or 6 of our items were flagged by the security there. Pleasant naman yung girl. So, she checked yung mga baby powder. She also checked yung isang laptop namin. We bought 3 kasi yung Windows hindi nila scan for some reason. So, inulit siya. Tagalan kami doon. And tip to hobbyists like me, chinek nila yung trading cards. Magic cards basically. Kasi stacks of paper, if you don't know, pag lumalabas sa x-ray ng TSA, they look like black boxes. So, medyo risky siya kasi baka bomb or whatever. So, they check pa. Jahe nga lang kasi pag tingin nila, diba, it's a binder of cards that looks very geeky, very demonic, ganon. So, pagpunta namin talaga dun sa boarding area, 10 minutes lang natitira. Kasi yung flight namin was, I think, 8:35. Parang 8:25 kami tumatay. Then, thankfully, na-delay ng onti. I think 10 more minutes yung flight. So medyo nakapahinga kami. Kasi pawis talaga kami. For some reason, may init sa Vancouver airport. Then we got on our flight, 1 hour and 20 minutes to Calgary. It was smooth sailing from there. So that's our travel experience. Siguro a few tips. Try to make use of eco bags to put in your folder or some bottles. Kasi pag nagtitimbang, parang, ewan ko, in our experience, hindi siya sinama. Also, even if I said, and mga recent nakausap ko na nakakalan lang sa Canada the past few days, konti lang hinanap sa kanila, I would still suggest that you still collect all your documents kasi you never know kung ano hahanapin sa'yo. Kahit hassle siya na makapal na malaki, better to be prepared than, hindi ka makahanap ng mga documents mo. But yeah, so that's it. We've been here for 5 days or 6 days, 1 week basically here in Canada, or enjoying it so far here in Calgary, in Alberta. And yeah, so we'll be sharing more of these things. Paano nga ba buhay here? How is it going to be as an international student? How is it going to be raising my family here? Kasi yung kids ko are pretty young. One is turning 10 in October, so she's 9. And our bunso is 2 years old, turning 3 next month. So hopefully you find our content very helpful, and would really appreciate if you can subscribe, like and comment. If you comment, we'll be sure to answer your questions if you have any, because I want to help. Kasi DIY lang kami, and it was very hard. It was very difficult to just find things by myself back then. So paying it forward, gusto namin tumulong to all the people who want to take this pathway. So yun lang, that's what's happening this season. Check out our next videos coming soon.